You know the girl that sits at the table with Michaela, and she wears like a hood all the time and like a hat. That's she's her desk.
Go there.
This is me.
Would the following students please report to the Career Center? Callan Baird, Amelia Bassett-Jones, Calista Campbell, Asher Smith.
You know what? That is not my responsibility because you have a locker right over there to put it in.
But those are the Steele, Claire Hinkle, Jane Galt, Greta Darcy, Hannah Gore. Please report to the Career Center at this time. Thank you.
Yes. Happy birthday.
It's your birthday.
No, I just said it for fun.
Yeah, no, she's
I think
just
there's a birthday.
telling people happy birthday.
I'm telling random people happy birthday.
Happy Tuesday.
I don't know, I feel like it's my birthday before it's Tuesday. So. Yeah, no, that was great.
That's so sweet.
Don't we have math test?
For where the future is. Yeah.
Wait,
I have two.
Because you don't have
Oh,
money.
Wait, you're gonna be taking tests? Me too.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I have to ask a question.
Why do you
Partially ready.
She literally copied me because I literally planned it before her. I planned it yesterday and you weren't there.
Well, I planned it in my brain.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of decided because I said.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing today?
I hope not. It's like a 4-question
Wonderful,
test.
wonderful, 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 wonderful. Grab a piece of scratch paper, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do some compounds right away.
Do you have scratch paper?
It's sitting right there on the corner of my desk. Or you can go grab a piece over there. Either one. I don't care. Whichever one you want.
Isn't this called scrap?
Piece of paper?
Scratch,
Is that
scrap.
for your birthday?
Itch. I don't care what you call it.
No,
Wait, can we sing happy
no,
birthday?
no, sing happy birthday.
No, let's not. Ready?
I don't know if you were able to know.
Come on. Happy birthday. No, wait. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear me.
If you're going to sing, you should have a good voice.
Happy birthday to you.
Thanks.
Oh my God, how old are you?
Oh my god, guys. Believe it or not, I'm like
You're
5.
17?
I'm like 5. I'm
You're
turning 5.
18? You're
5
super,
minus
super
two.
sophomore?
No, I'm a super sophomore.
Super sophomore?
I'm a super sophomore, guys.
You're 16, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Baby. I thought you were 25.
You're 16.
Yeah, I'm actually
Yeah. I'm 17.
Right?
Thought you were 25.
of drinking already.
Hey, I want to go to the ad. Sorry.
Oh, the actual difference. Oh my God, we should put the age worker on next week. So I can show you the age.
Actually,
That's how you're like. That's how you're 16 to like 19.
All right. Name this compound, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
I'm saying like you can buy something you like.
Hey,
Sodium phosphate.
Najma, shush and get to work. So you maybe want to have out your periodic table, ladies and gentlemen. It might help you.
Magnesium phosphate.
That's all we have to mention.
There you go. Happy birthday.
Oh,
There's your
thanks.
present. There's
thanks.
your present. We have this one too. Happy
Oh,
birthday.
okay.
Hey, are we doing it? Oh.
Up or down?
I was like, what are you talking about?
This way or this way?
Why?
Why did you ask?
You just were very passionate about not. Wait, I need my lens. I don't know. Oh,
Yes, I do. I have
need my phosphorus. Not phosphorus.
Well, the last one was
Mag phosphor.
Kind
All right, Cynthia, name it.
What had to go?
Yeah.
What?
Cynthia, name it.
magnesium phosphide.
Magnesium phosphide, ladies and gentlemen. That is the name of that compound.
Whoa.
Now, write a compound for gallium nitride.
Wait. Wait, why do we have to go this quick?
Wait, actually, no, I don't.
Yeah, actually we can.
Wait, I just did magnesium.
Gallium's in group 13 under aluminum.
It's in the boron.
We're gonna write both. Is it below?
Yes. It has to be below aluminum because there's only boron above it.
Why can I never remember?
Yes.
Oh, because then boron's up here.
Sorry, that got moved.
Wait,
So which one are you asking about? The gallium or the nitride?
I don't, because everyone told me about below.
Which one over here do you think about?
Okay, I know how to do it. I just didn't know where to put it.
That's-
Like that?
Gallium is in group 3.
Wait,
Nope.
it's right here.
I just think.
Isn't it boron? Oh, it's boron.
What?
I'm having issues.
Boron?
I know. I don't know where it is. Okay, that's Maddie's dad. This one? -3.
All right.
It's -5.
Haley, gallium, symbol in charge, please.
I know.
+3. Nitride comes from what leaf?
Wow.
Holy cow leaf. You sounded like you were right over there. What does it come from?
You said leave, sorry.
What's its charge? You got to give me a number. I heard positive, negative. I didn't hear an actual answer. -3. Now, again, this problem, you can do the crisscross method to solve this, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to take this -3 here, put it by the GA, the +3 by the N. So you would end up with GA3, N3. Again, we do not write any charges. But this can be reduced. So since they are both 3s, they can be reduced by 3. And our ultimate formula is GAN. Now, if you recognize +3 and -3 equals 0 right away, you don't have to do anything with the crisscross.
They cancel out. Boom.
They cancel out. And you can just get to GAN. I don't care how you get there, but this is what you have to get to for that problem. Questions?
No.
Wonderful. All right, now we're going to write a formula for lead-4 sulfide. Okay? We're going to do this one together because find me the symbol for lead. PB. Now, what did I tell you about lead yesterday? What is one of the unique things about lead? It has 2 charges. It can be a +2 or it can be a +4. So in a name, the way they tell you what the charge is on elements that you cannot know their charge. Now, we cannot know the charge of anything that is in groups 3 through 12. We didn't give you any way of knowing the charges of anything in here. Well, okay, sorry. I give you silver and zinc. Silver a +1, zinc a +2. But then I give you 2 charges for tin and for lead. They could be a +2 or a +4. So the way they tell you in a name what the charge on the metal is they use Roman numerals.
+4.
So this is a Roman numeral 4, so it indicates that it is a +4 charge. So now we can go ahead and do it. Now, a couple of things. Number one, they will only use Roman numerals with metals. You'll never use them with non-metals because non-metals always only have 1 charge. Okay? And if you don't know what a Roman numeral is, you can raise your hand, call me over, and I will tell you. But normally I would put it on the board. So normally I would do something like this, ladies and gentlemen. I would do I is 1, I is 2, I is 3, IV is 4, V is 5, VI is 6, VII is 7. I don't think we'll get into any charges larger than that. So this means, what's the symbol again for lead? PB, and it is a +4. Now, what does sulfide come from? Now, again, people always go, well, how do you find it on the periodic table? Well, here's the thing. You're not working with the entire periodic table for nonmetals. You're working with this corner up here, okay? Not going into the noble gases, just this corner. So what element in this corner would give us sulfide? Sulfur. Sulfur. And what's the charge on sulfur? -2. So I'm going to do the crisscross method. Pb2S4. But the one thing I got to check, the only place the crisscross method lets me down is what? When you can reduce them. Can you reduce a 2 and a 4? You can. So you can reduce these down to PbS2. Sorry. Questions? Excellent. 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 What? It's wrong. There is only one way to write binary ionic formulas. They have to be in lowest terms. By the way, if you do this, that's wrong. If you write ones, it's wrong.
Where?
By the PB there, I put a 1. Do not ever write ones. By writing the symbol, you're telling us that there is one of them. Okay? So don't ever write a 1. Questions? All right. Name the following. K4C.
What if, like, would spelling count on our?
I will accept minor spelling errors. Okay? If you accidentally misspell a different compound, no, I'm not taking it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, like, what if you don't know how to write it as like with the I at the end?
Well, you know it has to end in IDE. So if your misspelling is to end it in INE, no, I'm not accepting
No,
it.
but what if like you don't know what to put?
So what if you accidentally put sulfuride instead of sulfide? I would let that go. If you accidentally do oxygenide instead of oxide, I would let that go. But please understand, as we go through these and as we do these and as you practice them, there's only so many compound or so many nonmetals. So hopefully you learn them. Hopefully you learn to go back to oxide. Hopefully you learn to go to phosphide. Hopefully you learn to do those. Okay? Again, if you make a minor spelling error in a compound, I will accept it. But if your minor spelling error is close to something else, I cannot. So for example, magnesium and manganese are close. And if you accidentally spell it so terrible that I can't tell which one it is, here's the other thing. Mr. Brand, could you spell magnesium for me? I'll come over and I'll help you. Okay? I will help you. Now, don't say, Mr. Brand, how do you spell this compound? Not going to give you the answer. Okay? All right. So what's K? Potassium. So let's say you forget one of the S's in potassium. Okay. What's C? Carbon. So carbon becomes? So potassium carbide. Questions? Name the following: ZnF2. ZnF2. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, by far, naming a compound is easier than writing a formula. Because all you're doing is writing the name of the metal, the name of the nonmetal, and changing the ending to IDE. So writing names should be the part that you do very well on. Keep that in mind.
I can't see it.
No, it doesn't work.
Well, I'm just gonna. It kind of looks like zinc, Florida. To be honest. That actually.
See, now Zinc, Florida would be marked wrong.
Really?
But you got
Okay,
it.
it's got to end in what?
It ends in IDE. It just
Florida
looks like-
doesn't end in
No, it
IDE.
just looks like it could be Florida.
Like there's an E, it just looks like a little egg.
Well, if it doesn't look like an E to me, I'm marking it wrong. Because one thing you cannot get wrong is the IDE ending.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is an absolute. They end in IDE. If it doesn't look like it's ending in IDE, you're not getting credit for
No,
it.
it definitely is an IDE. It's
Okay?
We're good, y'all. We're good.
So again, what's Zn?
Zinc.
Zinc.
Oh, it's on paper.
What is F? Fluorine, which becomes
What?
fluoride.
The U is before the O?
No. It's FLOU. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it is FLUO. What?
Why?
I like
That's
how you were
weird.
I like how you thought he was wrong.
Fluoride.
Because
I've only been doing this for 20 some years,
It
so
doesn't look right. It looks.
it doesn't look
Well,
right.
To be fair,
Can I ask a question? How many compounds with fluoride have you written, Miro?
14.
Like.
Okay, so you guys,
Two.
it's kind of like right now we're in the second half of chemistry with my students, and they'll be like, Mr. Brand, that number doesn't look right. Why? I don't know. It just doesn't look right. How many of these problems have you done? 3? Oh, well, obviously you have a feel for them now.
Okay, well, I figured you were right, but it doesn't look right.
But it is.
But it is.
That's you. You're the birthday boy.
Well, not me.
Yeah.
All right, questions.
You should create an element and name it Brandium.
I'm telling you, 10%. I get 10% if you create a new element and name it Branium. That's my fee for naming
Sorry,
rights.
you didn't invent it though.
Like
What?
I would just name it after myself, which was a win for me, and also not pay you.
Right, and then I get all of them.
Levium? That sounds terrible.
I don't know. There's already germanium.
Maestrum? No, you can't. There's too many up there with
you're
M's in them
creating
already.
There's already
No,
germanium.
Sorry.
Mysterium.
Shh, quiet. Listen.
Mysterium. It's good. It's
Okay,
Taylor.
so
good. Taylor on
The
Mysterium.
teacher gave me that Taylor Swift.
Oh, shit.
You can name it.
name that.
Yeah.
I don't know how everyone remembers this so quickly. I can't.
So what's the name of this one?
Copper chloride. Copper 2 chloride.
Whatever.
That could be cookies.
Like that?
Well, there's a parentheses and the Roman numerals.
Like this is wrong.
Copper 2
It's
chloride.
real. Did you see it? Are you never on your phone?
Okay, why is it copper 2 chloride?
Copper's in the middle.
Because copper can either be 2 or
Those things.
Okay, so again, ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be times where we are going to write the names of a compound. And the compound is one where it is somewhere in here. And we need to tell people what the charge of the metal is. To do this, you need to work backwards. Okay? And it isn't as simple as always uncrisscrossing. Okay? It isn't always as simple as uncrisscrossing. One of the things we know about a compound is that the total charge on a compound, the total charge is what?
0.
The total charge on a compound is always 0. We use this to work backwards. Now, to find the total charge, we need to know the number of each atom, how many of them there are, and we need to know the charge. of each atom. Now, the other thing is the nonmetal charge never changes. So literally we begin with chlorine here. How many chlorines? How many of them are there? There are 2. What is its charge? -1. Its charge is always -1. Okay? Charge is a -1. So, if there are 2 -1s, what is the total charge? -2. The only way the total charge on the compound can be 0 is if the charge on copper is what? +2. Okay? Now, what can I get from the formula? I can get how many coppers there are, the number of them. There is 1. What I don't know is what its charge is by looking at the periodic table. So, the question is, what charge times 1 gives you a total of +2? So the charge on the copper is found by working backwards. The charge on the copper is copper 2 chloride. Questions? Yeah, I know, but I don't count this as math because it's simple stuff you could do on your fingers and toes. You bet.
No math in this unit at all.
Every rule has an exception.
Okay. So we need to name this compound. Now, what is Cr?
Chromium.
What is O?
Oxygen.
Which is?
Oxide.
Now, the only thing that we need to do is put a charge in there. Now, again, this isn't always as simple as simply uncrisscrossing them. If we uncrisscrossed it, what would we say the charge is? A 5, okay? But here's the fact. Oxygen, there are 5 of them here, correct? Okay, what's the charge of each oxygen? So, how many chromiums here?
Oh, wait, 1.
1. By the way, 5 -2s gives you a charge of what? -10. And I should have done this. Okay? So there are 2 of them here now. So what does the total charge on chromium have to be to balance off that -10? Has to be a +10. That is the only way the total charge will be 0. So if there are 2 of them, what is the charge? Has to be a +5. Has to be a +5. So this would be chromium 5 oxide. That is the only way you can find the charge on these. That's it. Questions?
Wait, so where did you get that 2 from?
Yeah, where did you get this?
This too?
Yeah, that one.
He had to put that in.
I put that in because otherwise it would have been a +10 charge, and it's unrealistic to say that something would be a +10 charge.
Wrong.
No.
I have put 10.
No. You did, but again, after I wrote it, I realized that was going to be a +10. That's not realistic. This is a more realistic compound. All right, let's.
Is it too positive? You're just too negative for that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nope. This 2 came from right there. I added it in after I started the original problem. I'm sorry. I did. Okay. These numbers here come from these subscripts that are written there. The charge here, I know because oxygen is always a -2. So what we're doing is we're using the negative charge to figure out what the positive charge is. Okay? So let's take a look at this next one. What is SN? Tin. I'm not going to change this one on you. What is S? Sulfur, which is sulfide. So that part we got. Now we need to know what number goes in here. No. How many SNs? How? Slow down. Listen and answer the question that I am asking. How many sulfurs are in this compound? 1. Now, what is the charge of every sulfur in a compound? -2. So this gives us a total charge of how much? -2. To balance that off by the tin, what must its total charge be?
Do you multiply those?
Okay, you can do either one. You can multiply the 1 times the -2, or you could say, for example, 2 -1s. A -1 and a -1 is -2. But yes, I'm multiplying them. Okay? I'm multiplying them. So here, I've got how many tins? What is the number of them? 1. So what number times 1 gives us a +2? What number? What number?
+2.
Thank you. +2. Because it's got, I know, but for charges, we need to emphasize negative and positive. What? Here's the thing. This plus sign isn't in the final problem. What goes in the final problem now is this. Okay? But again, I want you understanding that this is a positive charge. And to say it has a charge of 2 isn't correct. Is it a charge of +2 or is it a charge of -2? So with charges, you always have to give a sign with them. Okay? I don't need you to show me all this work. All I want is this. But I don't know how you get this without doing this. Okay? But this is work that you're going to do that you're never going to show me.
So we need to add it in Roman numerals?
You need to add in Roman numerals what the charge is. Yes.
Why?
Because that is the only way. Okay.
Oh boy.
Write a formula for that.
Oh, I thought you put 1 rod outside.
What do you
One
mean?
rod.
Write a formula. I've given you a name. Write a formula for it. Iron's number 26 in your periodic table.
I can't.
A lot of work going on for what you said. You got it?
Ow. No.
Why not?
I'm working on it.
Okay, give me an answer.
I barely wrote down the letters. Eso no tiene números, ¿no? ¿Cómo estamos aquí?
So you're finding it. What are we doing?
I forgot.
Okay, Cynthia, here's the problem. You cannot do what we just did
Because there's no charge for that.
because we don't have the formula.
But oxygen, we have a charge for oxygen.
We do.
have
We
that.
do. I completely agree with you.
This looks fun.
Stop doing this one
We've been stopped.
and do this one. Now, what is the first thing we do when we write a formula? We write what? The symbol and the charge. What's the symbol and charge for aluminum?
AL plus.
What's the symbol and charge for oxide? Now I can write a formula. Now I can do my crisscross method. I could take the 2 from here, put it down by the aluminum, take the 3 from here, put it down by the oxygen. Al2O3. That is our formula, correct? Why can't I do that here?
There's no
Iron
numbers.
has no charge.
There is no charge for iron. I don't know what number to put here. Now, I can't do what Cynthia said, which is just work backwards because we don't have a formula to work backwards from. So when you are given a name, in the name, they are going to have to express what the charge is because it's the only way you can write a formula. Now, if I tell you it's iron 3 oxide, what goes up here? A positive 3. Oxygen is still a... Now, you're right, Cynthia. Oxygen never changes. It doesn't. But still, without knowing what the charge of the metal is, we have no way of doing the crisscross method to write a compound. So that is why some names use Roman numerals. Okay? Either that or I have to give you the symbol with the charge. If I do that, you can do this formula. So what would the final formula be here? Fe what?
2, 0,
O3. Slightly different than what would the formula for that one be?
FE
Fe2O2.
F3O.
The FeO. Or yeah, FeO because the 2 is simplified. FeO.
You're right. Fe2O2 would be what we would do after the crisscross.
And then you said
But remember, then we need to reduce. Okay? Then we need to reduce. Now, this is a different compound than this. They both exist. Iron can make either one of these compounds. Okay? And it's not that we want it to be that way. It's that we found out it is this way. So then we had to explain it. And the only way to explain it is sometimes iron acts like a +3. Sometimes it acts like a +2. Okay? Now, here's what I will tell you. On your test, I will give you ones like these with Roman numerals in them. However, if you need to put a Roman numeral into one, I will make sure that I distinguish that somehow for you. I will say this problem needs a Roman numeral or something along those lines so that you're not checking every single problem to see if you need to put Roman numerals in. Okay? Questions?
No.
We're good with this? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yep.
Well, good. Let's go find out. So you are going to grab your periodic table, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to go back to one of the 5 stations where the balances are not on the corner. At that station, ladies and gentlemen, you will find a pair of dice. By the way, someone in your group or multiple people in your group, grab a chalk marker. You're going to go to the station and you are going to roll the dice. When you do, you will get a combination of a metal, which is written in red and has a positive charge, and a non-metal, which is written in black with a negative charge. And you will take and write a formula and a name for every compound you roll at this table as a group. Okay? After a few minutes, I'm going to move you to a different table because there's a different set of die there, and they have different elements on them. If you roll and you roll the same compound, just re-roll. Okay? You can make, I believe, up to 6 compounds at each station. Okay? We're going to give you a few minutes at each station. We're going to let you roll them. We're going to let you do them. If you need me to check them, raise your hand. I'll come over and check them. Okay? But again, there are 5 stations. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 of you in here. So that's about 3, maybe 4 people at a station or so. Go to work, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I need my period.
Yeah.
You're going to need your periodic table to write the names.
Probably.
You won't need it for the symbols because the symbols are there on the die, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need it.
Blue because it's me. And you. Oh, I thought you put it in my shirt. I was like, okay.
That's not a secret. You have these five.
Are we supposed to write this on the Yeah.
You can write it right on the tabletop.
You guys can't. Oh no, I have to put chemistry down. Oh my god. I'm so sad. Can you roll it?
Red is always the metal. Always start with the metal. Black is always the non-metal. It's always second in your compound. Metals are always first in your compound.
It's not, these are the metals, right?
I'm just writing it
What charge is it? Positive are always metals. Metals are always first. Cynthia, go put them in the cabinet up there.
What?
You know exactly what.
Oh yeah. The cupboard was.
It's break time.
What? I can't hear you. You got a headphone in.
I thought this was the one.
Hang on, I gotta make sure she actually does this. Hey, cabinet, cabinet, cabinet. I think I should lock it too. Take away the key.
I'm gonna
Oh,
get
you're bringing it to me? That's awfully nice of you. I don't open it up until 3 o'clock.
What?
Part of the century, not
Okay, we got it.
Hold another one.
That's the new one.
Hold a different one.
I literally cannot see it. What the heck? Why do we need to even write it down? Why do we just do the same thing? Okay.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, let's take one of those.
I can still see it. Okay, what is it? It's so funny.
Okay, now write a formula for it too.
I know.
So what would the formula be for Ly plus 1 and S minus 1?
So you can see over negative numbers when you bring it up. This was for positive.
Please remember, don't just write the name, write the formula. No, you don't, because you can't have a negative amount of sodiums. So the numbers that are written down below are always just positives. So we don't write any signs.
Oh, great.
You
got this. Okay.
You know what? You're doing so much over there. I know.
You bet. Right on the table if you want to. It's up to you. Okay, do not.
Oh, yeah, mine is. What the heck?
This is G8 and F3. Okay? We never write ones down below. Now write the name of it. What would the name of that compound be?
I thought you were doing the names. You're drawing flowers. Good lord.
Is it moving too fast?
Yeah, I was like, you just got one.
Where's the yeah?
Oh, great.
What's the S?
Because you want the total charge in a compound to always be 0. The easiest way to do that is to take the charge of this one,
Take my
put it
handwriting.
down right here. Take the charge of this one and put it down right here. Now, the only time it messes you up, and it
Oh
always
my
works
god!
to get
I
your
already
charge
wrote
of
it
0,
down.
but sometimes these numbers are like a 2 and a 4, and after you do it, you have to reduce them into lowest terms. That is the only way that the crisscross method fails you. Only way.
We're done?
No, there should be 6.
We haven't got that
We
one.
did not.
All right, clean up your station and everybody rotate clockwise. Hey, over there, here, there.
You gotta keep moving. You can't just stop in the middle of the road.
Correct.
Yeah.
Same thing as the new station, you just have different combinations, ladies and gentlemen. The red are still the metals. The red are still written first. Black is still the non-metal. It is written second. Make sure you write a name and a formula. If you finish and I don't get over there to check it, do another one and I can come over and check it. Now write the name. Okay. Wrong. That's not the wrong part.
Oh, you gotta put these.
No, that's not. Gotta put the charge in it. Iron is one of those that you gotta put the charge in. Yeah, it's given to you right there, so we're only doing number 3. Okay.
One and then we'll call them over.
Something I can actually do. Close 4?
Sorry.
You have such like a science teacher handwriting. I know, right?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Actually, that looks a lot like my handwriting. Do you remember that one thing that I gave Mr. Nelson that I said that you wrote? Did you not tell you about that? Anyway, but he was like, this actually looks like his handwriting. Because my handwriting, like my note handwriting, looks a lot like that's it.
Thanks, I've only been doing it for 27 years.
They're calling you over there.
They're calling me over there? Okay.
Those ones over there.
It's not. Yeah.
it just looks like a science handwriting.
Every time. This is such a, because I write it like a flower.
Yep.
I know, I did too.
And that's how it seems.
They just remind me of.
You
Good.
know,
Signing that, Mr. Brand.
Very nicely done.
That's all right. That's what
Yeah.
I'm signing.
Oh, yeah, ladies.
Hey,
Is that nice?
Good.
It is. You're really smart.
So for all of your ones here, because they're lead, they're iron, and they're copper, all of them need Roman numerals.
Why?
Because all 3 of them are in this area here. Here's iron, here's copper.
because I put the N first and I was like, wait,
Lead is
what does it go
plus
first?
2 or plus 1.
Oh, wait. All these need Roman numerals? The ones that don't have one. Yeah.
The ones that don't have a chart.
I would like to say yes, but silver and zinc do not.
Okay,
Silver and zinc only have 1 chart.
Okay, but we get.
Okay.
So because copper is here, because iron is here, and because lead is needed plus 2 or plus 4, they all need Roman numerals here.
I think we just have that one.
Zinc.
Or something. Yeah, we did just have that one.
Well, since you're given the charge, it's easier to do the Roman numeral, but you still need to do the Roman numeral.
I don't remember it, so.
So from zinc, well.
That was where I was showing you where we were undoing the crisscross method, where we would find what the charge of the negative part is, figure out what the charge of the positive is, and then figure out what the individual atom would be.
God, maybe we have had this one.
No, I've had them.
You don't get what? You don't get, when did you use it or how?
It just.
So, if you have to have Roman numerals, let's do,
UOR.
3, S.
Yes.
On the test, I will let you know when you need to use the Roman numerals. So let's do this, V2 Well, here's the thing, we always know the non-metal. The non-metal we always know. There are 3 of these sulfurs. We also know the charge. the charge of sulfur is always -2.
Oh, wait, so if it's on
So
top,
it's
that's the
always
charge,
going
bottom,
to
that's
be-
the number on them?
Yes, on top it's a charge, on the bottom it's a number. Okay, so I know that the total negative charge here is -6, right? So the only way this can equal 0 is if this is a +6. But there are two of them. No. 2 times -3 is not +6.
Why'd you guys write that? God, that's so weird.
Literally, okay.
Plus,
So mean. That's so
so
weird.
now we know what the charge is.
Not me, I'll tell you.
That's the way we can work backwards.
So what about the bonus?
What would that be? I.
You see this?
Wait, I think I would.
He's writing. Look, Levi's literally writing Mr. Brent socks. You see that? I mean, you gotta learn doing like that. What the heck?
Yeah, literally, she
What the
signed
heck?
it. She
That's how
literally
they
signed it.
She was signed for
She literally signed it.
Go, switch!
I gotta go.
What?
It's too late.
That's 3, that's the 3.
No, the Roman numeral is 3 because the total charge is 6. But then we have to figure out what the charge on each one of these is.
Oh, right, the charge.
Done.
Well, we know what the charge for this one is. We know what the
Alright,
charge
ready?
of negatives are, always. Negatives don't ever change charge. The only ones
I
that
know.
can change charge are the metals.
Wait.
Okay? Metals are the only ones that can have negative charge.
No, it's literally 2 elements.
So for these
It's
which are
oxygen and
metals,
fluorine.
you're gonna need to use your symbols when you write your names.
So, yeah.
Now here's the good news.
Oh.
It tells you what the charge is on there. So you don't have to chop it up. Okay?
Writing the name?
Actually, I'm not the one writing it down. I would be screwed if I had wrote it down. Tired.
It's not a G.
That happens. Well, if you're tired, yes, that's a good idea.
I got to you before the go this time. That was gonna end. But it's
You did
I
right.
laughed so hard.
God damn!
Especially this early morning.
This is stupid.
So funny.
This
Now
is
that is a minor spelling error that I would.
this is stupid.
He's written Laura wrong every single time in the one time.
Does he put the OU?
Yes,
Yes,
because I write it like flowers.
What are we doing?
This is stupid.
No, the light has to be.
Man.
There's no why.
Are you ready? Literally, the math test, like, this unit math test? Yeah. Like, it does math hard. It's just a lot of
Instead of CLR.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
No, I don't understand. I don't know.
How we would
No.
work backwards.
I
to
don't-
find
I
the
don't-
charge.
That's not my bad.
So there.
I actually used to do basketball.
Maybe one we don't see it. That means the total charge has to be a -7. We can compound
No,
it
we haven't.
to 0.
I'm writing it.
You should, it's fun.
Since there are 2 of them here, each one
I
has
used
to
to
be a
do
+3.
basketball,
That was crazy.
and gymnastics, and ballet.
Look at that. Got it down.
We're pretty.
What?
We all look pretty good.
It's like random dry spots.
Well, here's the thing. The only time we need to do it is if we're given a formula.
Yeah,
for
and
the
I
charge.
will have it wrong.
But soccer doesn't start with math.
Okay, that's the only time we need to do this.
Like,
To do what you're doing here, to write these formulas,
start with
See,
here.
it
triads
doesn't-
are like,
this, you don't need to worry about it. We're kind of doing
okay,
the
I'm
opposite.
extremely
I think we just got that one.
extremely, like,
How many
Oh, I
pluses would balance out how many -2s?
No.
6 combinations, so.
We did that crisscross method.
You know how many times I fell down?
That's how we get a total charge.
It's
0,
really fun.
3
I'll just be a
plus
groupie.
2s
That's okay, I'll just be a
gives
groupie.
us a +6.
Do you know this?
2 minus 3,
It's
because
like-
that's what nitrogen is, gives us a
Like, you know,
-6, so that
like
equals
these
0.
bands, like, they're all like, die hard.
This
Yeah,
is
'cause
the
that's
crisscross
Satan
method.
stitches
This is how we
out.
get these numbers down.
That could-
I don't want to get the moon one of
We
my
kind of have these
That's right.
Yeah.
Actually, just, there's,
And then you get oxide. I don't think these guys are oxide.
I'll move for everyone
I would
else.
tell you.
I don't think these guys are single oxide.
Just read.
So in other words,
I'll just say, now it's not.
tell
You,
you.
that's because you guys have been taking
And then I'll
long. You've gotten
go-
more oxides. You haven't gotten any fluoride.
Or.
Or we've got
Okay.
okay.
With Roman numerals. I knew the name was Roman numerals.
You know what? We're gonna do
Right.
it easy.
No, you don't have to show, because I'm not asking if you're gonna be asking you for this or for this. Right? And you know how to do this to get that.
Actually,
You're not gonna need to show that.
she's very good.
You want to just.
Hey, greedy Gus. What are we doing here? Why are we taking all of the markers?
I'm not saying that, but it's just like, well, there.
Oh.
Try the other end.
I kind of got like the base.
It's not right. It's
Still
probably
not
dried out.
Probably.
Wait, Mr. Brett, it's not right.
Whoa! Sorry, I
Yes.
did not expect it.
Who wrote air?
What?
I know, that's
Wow.
what
That is inappropriate.
ink stays
Wait,
near the tip.
we tried to sign off. What about it?
I thought you were holding on.
Yes, it's the same as the color on the bottom.
Okay, Mr. Brand. Music,
Good?
Yeah.
All right, one more stretch, ladies and gentlemen, go.
Yeah, that's how you think.
There's your.
I tried. What do you mean one more?
Well, here's the fact.
What?
If you're getting it, you're getting it, and if you're not, you're not. But you should be asking for help if you're not.
Yeah.
And there's only like
Actually, I didn't
You
know
could've
I was
picked.
smoking.
6 different elements on each one.
You're right.
You should.
Well, yeah,
So that you could have 36 different combinations.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna start that. We're gonna be breaking back. We're gonna be Walter White. Yeah, we're gonna get a ton of money. We're gonna get cancer, and then our brother's gonna be like, "Hey, you're rich." Let's make
Periodic tables and solubility charts. Grab one of each.
Yeah.
Have 2 trays there. By the way, you can't change FE just because you want to, because you want to save writing a letter.
So there's a stereotype.
What I
Yeah,
mean
there
by
is
this
because
is FE.
I have blue hair.
I literally can't spell.
I do too.
Yeah, look, is it because we both have blue hair?
Yep. My hair is so blonde. And you're right. I'm the Murph right now.
I just am.
Smurf though. We're the Smurfs.
I should become a metalhead. I should become a piercing. For battle.
I should get a bunch of hair.
It's my hair.
I was like,
I
yeah.
literally couldn't
I
find
like to get a mohawk.
Okay. No, because then I'd have to show my forehead.
You don't want to do that.
I can't go
Well,
back
you
to
can
that.
have like,
There you go.
you can have the baby. Just,
Oh, what the heck?
I feel like you still, you know, you'll be on like, if you heard her
Great.
yeah. She cannot.
Okay, greedy guts. Give me the markers.
What's your brand? I don't know why you still don't like her. We're low haters. I heard you've been dating
They were both ones.
Whatever.
like,
Because it isn't.
Look,
It
this
ain't
is what I was
exciting
like,
all that
I
time.
really- I got to college. That's what I was like.
Who's your coach?
Coach Green and Coach Girl.
Who's Coach
They're
Green?
all.
They both went east. I don't know. What's his first name? I don't know. Oh, our
Only because I have always said that soccer is not a sport.
Yeah, they have you as a teacher.
So
you're-
why
you
would
golf.
you-
This
What?
you go.
That's what
you call something
not a sport. And then if you're
I don't call golf a sport.
what do you call it? A hobby? But then you
I
play
call
it.
it an activity.
You don't hate on it.
Activity.
You don't
What?
hate on golf.
I don't hate on golf because I like golf.
But
But
then
I'm not
why-
gonna call it a sport when you
No,
say
you're not
that.
talking.
You're smoking great while doing it.
I know. You can only go to No, you can do soccer in the winter.
You can do golf in the winter too.
Well, that's true. Wait.
There are
Can I get
winter
frostbite?
golf courses where you can golf.
Okay, but like that's not out of screen.
No.
No, it's not. Like there's like green like courses that are
right.
There are
There's
courses
no such
there.
thing as
Yeah, there's
that's what I'm saying.
simulators.
Try
too,
to
yeah.
make compounds.
And you can go somewhere warm and golf.
I mean, old people make that. Old people. I mean, it's old.
Again, I don't know why you guys complain. The one thing that I will for surely give you is consistency.
What's the uniform?
And for the last 26 years, I've said soccer's not a sport. Nothing you're gonna say
I
is going
will
to change
convince
my opinion.
Why don't you go to our games and watch? What is it?
What? Because I'm too busy watching the grass grow in my front yard.
What do you call a sport then?
Or I watch the paint dry on the walls and, you know, when I paint them. Because that's more exciting than watching soccer.
You have no
Should I try
like, you have no fun.
You're right, I don't.
That's sad.
What's your point?
Should I try?
Yes, soccer. Soccer will get you more fun.
How?
Because soccer is popular.
Should I draw? Should I try?
What? Who likes gold?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who understands what golding is? No one. I think
You're have one flaw with your entire strategy here, Nadia. You think I care what other people think. I am, yes.
What do you
That's loud.
That's a
What?
Shoot.
Okay, I'll give you my definition one more time.
You guys.
Baseball / softball, same thing. Basketball, football. That's it. They're your sports. That's all.
That's me
So-
this summer. What? When I'm bulking you? Oh, yeah. Should we bulk you right now? That's what I'm doing right now.
I-D-E.
Why is it kind of cute?
You're right, this is
I just feel like the mouse should be.
ending
Is that the
of the names of the non-metal to I-D-E.
Why's my chin that low? Your A's look like.
Instead of I-N-E, it should end up I-O-I-D-I.
I don't draw my twos like that, so I'm not freaky.
Oh,
Like you said that. That's a little.
We're our own. We're making our own.
Yeah, I'll draw me.
This is for second hour.
I'll draw me.
What?
Sorry.
I don't want to send people down from second hour.
That's before that.
It's okay. I'll do it. I'll do it. You want them all?
No, just one.
Look how nice
I only have one for you.
Oh, Pearson. And I like him. He's one of the few. Can't I send somebody who I don't like? You sure? Thanks. All right, clean it up, ladies and gentlemen. Come on back and have a seat.
It's cold.
So all your little drawings, put them back. Make sure you click the marker cap so they don't dry out on me.
I need to put back a drawing.
No, you cannot.
I need to put back a drawing.
It is
Yeah.
up by my.
It's all your little drawings come back.
Can you use your Chromebook?
Okay.
You got 20 more minutes?
It's a Chromebook. It's not a laptop. Desktop.
I'm not carrying it.
Why? Because she's acting helpless.
Maybe she is.
She's not acting.
What if she is?
She's for real. I'm literally helpless.
What if she's literally helpless?
Help! I can't get up.
Shoot.
Someone help her. Is there a doctor in the room? I don't think so.
Are you crippling at the age of like
17.
Okay,
She's dying. I'm 17. I'm crippled.
Me too, honestly.
You're not
I have
17,
creaky
sorry.
knees. I have creaky knees.
You're not 17, sorry.
At 16. I have creaky knees at 16.
You're not knee pain, so never mind. Really?
This is stupid.
No, it's still here. You need to get some hair. I think I might have to soon.
You might.
My mom keeps threatening the doctor. I'm scared. I think they have like bone cancer or something.
Well, wouldn't you want to know? Wouldn't you want to know?
Always over
I would rather die of bone cancer than get diagnosed with cancer.
Okay.
Isn't that the same thing? They're both cancer.
Let's.
No, you didn't listen to me. At all.
Okay, anybody want the Northern Michigan pencil that somebody left me?
Oh, that was
Well, no, you can't have that.
I have no glasses.
There you go. Well, don't lose the one that you have.
It looks good.
why did you
Why are you lying?
I'm not.
Oh my
All right.
That looks
I said it looks good. I'm not lying.
Why did you say that?
Now she's gonna start thinking about it.
Oh,
They do look
now I
good.
think I look stupid. Do I look stupid?
No.
You have to tell me straight up.
No. Okay, get to slide 19 in your EISN, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, do you have is
We are now moving on to the next type of compound.
there a charger?
Okay?
I will tell you.
Okay.
So, the most basic type of compound, ladies and gentlemen, yes.
Is there a charger?
Yes, there are.
Can I have one, please? May I have one?
Why are you so
Please?
rude?
Can I have
Crazy.
another one?
Because it's my personality.
No, you'll need
Let
an
it be.
actual charger.
I'll change it.
Yeah.
Sorry, not gonna happen.
Let's see if I have. No. The one time I don't. Wait. No, I don't. It's fine.
Wow.
I'm only
Now you're
rude to
lying again.
people who can't do what they're supposed to do.
See, she agrees.
You gotta get your butt up and get it.
You're
You
already
think-
up though.
I understand that. All right.
Imagine that one doesn't work.
Right? That one's not right.
So the most basic type of compound, ladies and gentlemen, is a binary ionic compound. However, there are compounds that are made of 3 or more elements. They are called ternary ionic compounds. Now, they still are between 2 charged particles. It is just that now we have a group of atoms that is acting as a single ion. Okay? So that is what a ternary ionic compound is. It is 3 or more different elements bonded by gaining or losing electrons. Okay? It involves a cation and an anion. Now it is important that we use the term cation and anion. Why? Because we are not talking about a single element. We are talking about a group of elements together. So we call them a anion. Now there are some positive cations that are made up of 2 or more elements. And we always told you that a ionic compound was between a what and a what?
Oh, what? Wait, what?
An ionic compound is between a what and a what? Okay, what are the positives? Metals. The negatives are nonmetals. Well, now it is actually between a cation and an anion. Okay? There is a polyatomic ion involved in your compound, ladies and gentlemen. There is a polyatomic ion involved in your compound. So take your periodic tables and look at the back of them. There is a list of polyatomic ions. Tell me what you notice, some things that you notice about that list. What about it?
It's hard to breathe.
I don't think that's really what we're going for.
You said, what do I notice?
What do you notice?
There's a lot of oxygen.
Okay, a lot of the compounds on the back do contain oxygen.
What was
Yeah, I suppose.
What? What are the endings of a lot of them? ATE are the endings on a lot of them. However, if you look very closely, there are a couple of them that end in IDE. So as I told you the other day, all binary compounds end in IDE. But not every compound that ends in IDE is binary, because some of these ternary ionic compounds do end in IDE. What do you notice about the charge of most of these?
Negative?
Most of them are negative.
They're almost all negative. There is only one that is not negative,
And they're both subscript and
which is
superscript.
Ammonium.
ammonium, Levi's favorite. Ammonium is a positive cation that can be involved in a ternary ionic compound.
So there's no other guy.
So what that means, well, this is not an all-encompassing list. This is not every single one in the world. These are the common ones that we will be using in this class, and even some of these we won't use. By the way, go down to the 4th one from the bottom. What is the 4th one from the bottom? Cross it off.
Okay.
Do you not like that one?
Pomegranate?
Correct. I don't like that one.
He doesn't like pomegranate.
Cross it off.
Breathe it in and that one was hard.
Yep, I did.
He doesn't like pomegranates. That's why.
Is there a reason? Explain your reason.
Explain my reasoning. It's going to mess you up when you look at the side, at the right-hand side. Just trust me. Just cross it off and forget about it. Okay? Cross it off and forget about it. The 4th one from the bottom, permanganate. Cross it off.
Pomegranate.
The 4th one from the bottom, permanganate.
I did that already.
Cross it off, and I don't know why you're asking me.
I thought you were saying something else.
Okay?
I thought you moved.
By the way, the very first one, acetate. 99% of the time when acetate is used in a formula, it will have the formula C2H3O2. However, it could also be written CH3COO. We never use that second distinction in a formula because that's more for organic compounds, and we will not get into organic compounds in here. Okay? All right. The reason I point out ammonium, though, is because if you look at a compound that has ammonium in it, you will not find a what?
Living organism.
That was really.
You will not find a metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is acting as the metal, even though it is literally 2 nonmetals combined together.
Yeah.
It is acting as the metal. So it is the one time when you will not find a metal in an ionic compound.
Ammonium seems to be the
Okay.
exception to every rule.
Polyatomics are always on the back of your periodic table. And as Jara said a little while ago, their endings are different. Now, again, you may want to highlight two of them. The ones that I would highlight are, actually, there's 3 or 4 of them, but the ferrocyanide, ferric cyanide, and hydroxide. I would put maybe a star by those. However you want to distinguish it.
Put a star.
But the reason that I'm telling you to do that is because those end in what? IDE. And by the way, up a little more is cyanide. I would also put one by it. Because those 4, cyanide, ferric cyanide, ferrocyanide, and hydroxide, those 4, ladies and gentlemen, end in IDE, even though they are polyatomics. Now, the good news is, the one that we will use the most, hydroxide. But you would be amazed how many people don't flip their periodic table over when their compound contains hydroxide and they try to put just hydrogen there. It is not just hydrogen. Okay? It is an OH group. Now, one of the things about these groups, they all have charges just like nonmetals have charges. Okay? And I want to stress this. You can never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, don't do it. You can never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, change these groups. In other words, if you have nitrate, the only way we write nitrate is NO3. That is it. There's no other way to write it. And you will never put N2O3. You will never put N2O6. It is NO3. And if we do need to put a subscript by them, we do it by putting them in parentheses. Because then that says, I have 2 of these groups, or 3 of these groups. But the group doesn't change. PO4, phosphate. SO4, sulfate. Okay? The group does not change. Questions? Now, here's the good news. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to treat these just like any other negative ion. Polyatomic ions are a group of atoms covalently bonded together. Any idea what covalently means?
Expertly.
Covalently means that instead of gaining or losing electrons, these groups are sharing their electrons. They're sharing their electrons. And they act as a single ion. We're going to treat them like they are a single ion. We're going to treat them like they're chlorine or fluorine or phosphorus. In terms of, we still need to balance off charges in a compound. But we are never going to change the group. What that means is the subscripts in the group won't change. If we need to put a subscript by a group, we put the group in parentheses. That is how we will handle it. Okay? Now, the good news is, what we've been doing, we are going to continue to do. In other words, we're going to take and do the crisscross method to balance off charges because the charge needs to be 0. And naming these is actually quite easy because you don't do anything to the ending. You write the metal, you write the non-metal polyatomic name, and you are done. That is it. Okay? So tomorrow we will start on this, ladies and gentlemen. Questions? I think you overestimate things, Najwa.
I don't. I just know deep down that it fails though.
You do?
Yeah, I haven't.
I'd rather not do it and then
They're so cool.
Oh my god. It's okay though. I think
Well, look at it this way, Najma. If you're having a bad day, this person had a really
Maybe
bad
I'll
day.
finish it and I'll give it to you
Who's
for your
that?
birthday.
Robert Paulo, 32, was apparently being disorderly in a St. Louis market when the clerk threatened to call the police.
And then he got
Paulo grabbed a hot dog,
Or a hot dog.
shoved it into his mouth, and walked out without pain. Police found him unconscious in front of the store. Paramedics later removed the 6-inch wiener from his throat where it had choked him to death.
It was bad magic.
That's just sad. Okay, I feel better.
I mean, St. Louis is basically Gotham if you're like in
A West Virginia man popped a blasting cap into his mouth. Anyone know what a blasting cap is?
Oh, it's probably
It's
one
count
those
blast.
smoke.
It starts dynamite. It's the ignition for dynamite. He popped it into his mouth, bit down on it, triggering an explosion that blew off his lips, teeth, and tongue.
How did it not do this?
Could you imagine? Your mouth is just gone.
Apparently, he did it as a prank during a party one night.
Are you gonna eat now?
Why do you have this book?
This isn't a book. These are just Darwin Awards for people who do extraordinarily stupid things
Yeah.
and try to remove themselves from the gene pool.
Darwin words are always funny. 'Cause every
Now,
time-
these are not Darwin Awards, but a Rhode Island man was charged with a string of vending machine robberies. When he won, fled from the police inexplicably, and 2, tried to post his bail with $400 in coins.
In coins? Why did he have $400 in coins?
Has he robbed
Hello? $400 in coins?
I have so many.
Like, I have like 20.
In Ann Arbor, man. Ann Arbor, Michigan. A man walked into a Burger King, flashed the gun, and demanded cash.
And a burger.
The clerk turned him down because he said he couldn't open the cash register without a food order. The man ordered onion rings. The clerk said they weren't available for breakfast. Frustrated, the man walked away.
That's one way to get somebody to stop robbing you.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, we don't have any onion rings.
I guarantee that person carried it.
Right, here's just like,
I can't open it.
Karen Lee, 20, was arrested in Lake City, Florida for attempted robbery of a Howard Johnson motel. She was armed only with a chainsaw, an electric chainsaw that was not plugged in.
Because people were mentally ill.
Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you, Gerald.
okay.
Okay. Let me catch this tomorrow. Aw. She raised us for her birthday.
Thank you.
I'll save it for tomorrow.
Save it for tomorrow. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, she's waiting till it's
Sounds
not my
like a
birthday.
winner.
She's waiting till it's not my birthday.
Hey, sir, can I get my AirPods back? I can't function the rest of the day.
Go ahead and grab them.
Sorry.
My legs were still.
Do you know math?
What?
Do you know math?
I don't know math. No, I've never met him.
Oh my god.
Why? What do you have?